Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I am Paula, and today we have Sharon Marie with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. So, our first question is always the hardest question. So, please tell us, who is Sharon Marie?
Oh gosh, how much time do you have, Paula?
As much time as you like. We can sit here and just have fun.
Well, I'm a singer, songwriter, visual artist, mother, sister, friend, all of the above. And I've been involved in music for over 40 years. I've taken a few breaks, with had some kids and some businesses, but music still always was there. I always was writing music. And then funny enough, right before COVID, I really started to get more serious about the songwriting. A new little radio station had opened up in our little town, and I gave them one of my songs, and they played it, and they said, if you bring any more songs, we'll play them. And so that just really kind of got me excited about getting more serious about songwriting and getting my music out to the world. So that's kind of what I've been doing the last 4 years.
Awesome. So, I read on your website you've been in the business for 40 years. Now, you must have seen some huge changes over that time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in my time, I made a demo tape, went into the studio, because we had a young family, it wasn't a ton of money for extra, hobbies and stuff. And it was kind of a hobby back then. And, you make a demo tape, and then it's like, where do you send it? You send it to these record companies with A&R reps and now I realize, of course, my songs probably weren't there yet.
Yeah.
But you don't know that at the time. You're just going through the motions and stuff like that. So it was really hard to get somebody to pay attention to your music. I was really lucky. I started out in a rock band when I was just a teenager. Then I switched to country music, and that's when I started writing music. And I would interject my own songs into the set list.
Yeah.
We'd play live dances, and people would get up and dance. And I was like, wow, they don't even know this is my song. But, there was a reaction. And again, that was, sort of the start of thinking, oh, maybe you could do this. You could be a songwriter. And now, when you release music, at least, I know it's switched now because millions of people can release music.
Yeah.
But at least I can say, yeah, I'm on Spotify, or yeah, I'm on YouTube, or Amazon. At least there's an avenue for us.
Yeah. There's so many different places now that you can pick up music from. Where obviously, back in the 80s, we didn't have so much of this here. It was all sort of, if it wasn't through a record label or CDs or cassettes,
Absolutely.
I'm showing my age there. I'm showing my age with cassettes.
Yeah, me too. We won't talk about 8-tracks.
Yeah, I think I don't think I'm old enough for 8-tracks just yet, but you never know. So back in August 23, you released the single "Feels Like Home in a Small Town." Tell us about
that. That's kind of my second song about, being from a small town. I wrote "Small Town Prayer." That was a song dedicated to my parents, who were farmers. I grew up on a farm by a small town. And then, so that kind of same storyline will, pop up again. So this one, because I've been traveling around a lot in very small towns.
Yeah.
I remember I was out, and people were out on the porch. They didn't know me, but it's like, you kind of know everybody, even though you don't know people in a small town. You feel like you do.
Yeah.
Because it's same mindset. People are pretty friendly. Everybody, every small town has their rodeo, which I talk about in the song. And yeah, it just feels like home in a small town. You don't know these people in this town, but you feel like you do.
Yeah, yeah, you have that same feel no matter where the small town is. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Um, so obviously, reading through your website again, you have won numerous awards. Now, how does that feel from an artist point of view to be nominated and then obviously win?
Well, it's kind of icing on the cake, I would say. And it really kind of pushes me forward again
Mm,
and I think that's the really neat thing about releasing your music to the world. Not everybody's going to like you. You got to get
no,
used to that, you know.
yeah,
But there's people that find you, as you know, they're the old saying that the tribe and your people will find you. So, and
yeah,
to win awards by your peers, especially, it means a lot, right?
yeah,
So, yeah, it just makes me more confident because I think everybody, as an artistic person, we all have our days where we go, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing this for? You know,
yeah,
it
yeah. I can
helps.
understand that. I can understand that. So you always need that little bit of encouragement. I mean, you don't do it for the awards, but when you do win them, it gives you that thing of, I'm doing the right thing here. People do like me, and they like what I'm doing, which is just awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And I have to say, I do love the song "Pour Me," and the video is just fantastic. I really do love that song. It has that, I don't know, it has that older sort of country feel. Do you know what I mean? Not like the newer stuff that's out now. It gives you that sort of the older sort of. I mean, I'm a huge sort of Reba McEntire fan, so I love the music from that era. Terry Clark, Patti Loveless. It kind of gives me that feel from that time, which is it's really nice to have that back again. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I would say when I describe my music, it's probably a more traditional country.
yeah, yeah, and as I said, that's what I grew up on. My mum was a big Patsy Cline fan, so we always had that around the house. Lynn Anderson. So you always had that playing, and then of course I just moved on to Reba and through that way. So yeah, it's just fantastic. So we have a fun section of 13 crazy questions. No, that can't even talk. 13 crazy questions. Are you ready to take the challenge?
Sure.
These are good. They're fun. We get to know you as a person. Which is good. Good. So, first question. What is your favorite type of transport?
Favorite type of?
Transport. To get from A to B, what's your favorite way of doing it?
Well, I really don't like driving, so I would just have to say walking.
That's quite cool. I love that. And you get fit at the same time. There you go. See? Okay. If you're having a bad day, what's your feel good TV show or film that you go to?
Oh, I don't really have any TV shows I watch too much, but I watch a lot of art technique videos, so that would
Okay.
be it.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. If you could write with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, probably Dolly Parton.
She's awesome. I love Dolly. I have to say, I was never a huge fan of hers, but then my co-host is a big fan, so I started getting into her music. And the more I've got to know about her, it's just like, she's absolutely an amazing human being. So
She
it's very,
is.
very
She is.
cool. Okay. If your life was a reality show, what would you call it?
Oh my goodness. Up for the challenge.
Oh, that's a great one. What a challenge. I love that. Okay. So if I came to you and said, I have a dead body in my trunk, do you know a good place to hide it?
Yes.
I love that. Is yes. We're not going any further. It's a yes.
I watch a lot of crime shows, I will say that.
Oh, I love them. I love them. I must admit, I saw this great TV show the other day, and they managed to kill somebody with an icicle. And if it wasn't for a handprint on the tree, they would never have found the murderer. I was like, Great way of killing someone. An icicle. Kill them with that. We just don't touch anything around you, leave fingerprints. Okay. So, which artist would you love to do a duet with?
You cut out there. I couldn't hear what.
Oh, which artist would you love to do a duet with?
Oh, oh gosh. Tanya Tucker.
Oh, that'd be awesome. She's amazing. Okay, perfect. Tanya Tucker, that's pretty cool. Okay, so if you're listening, Tanya, what do you do to help yourself relax apart from music? So move away from the music field. What would you do to help you relax and just?
Probably it's not music, but my art. I really I get into a whole other zone with my art, and just it's very relaxing.
Perfect. We'll have to see some of that.
Sure.
You can send us pictures. We can put it on our website. That'd be very cool. If you owned a bar, what do you call it?
A bar. Last Stop Bar and Grill. I have no idea.
It's quite good actually. Last Stop Bar and Grill. That is very cool. That is very cool. I love that. Some of the names people come up for bars, I'm like, they've been really thinking about this. Some people seem to have these really, really cool names. I love it. Okay, what scares you the most?
Getting older.
Yeah, age is just a terrible thing. It's amazing how much it creeps up on you. Before you know it, it's like years just disappear. My parents always said to me, the older you get, the quicker time goes. And I was like, nah. And before you know it, years just sort of disappear. It's crazy.
I know. I never believed that either. But no, I just in May I turned 60.
Never. My God. If I look as good as you at 60, I'd be happy, I tell you. I'm very happy about that one.
My mother always said it's better, I'd say, happy birthday, Mom. And she'd say, well, it's better than the alternative. So you know what? We do have to be thankful.
Oh, yes, definitely. It's definitely to have a happy birthday than, anything else. Definitely. We've done that one. Okay. If you were an animal, what would you be?
A cat. I think I was one before.
Would that be a wild cat or would you be a domesticated?
I would be domestic because I love looking out the window and looking at people.
You're a people watcher. I love people watching. I love
Some people would call it being nosy, but no, it's people watching.
It's people watching. You learn so much about people. You just sit there and watch them walk past.
Well, that's as a songwriter, you have to observe people.
Definitely. See, that's perfect. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure food?
Chocolate, hands down.
Do you have a specific chocolate you like?
Well, I should say dark chocolate, but it probably isn't because that's healthy.
It's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be healthy, yeah. I must admit, I eat dark chocolate, but then I do eat a lot of. Actually, I've started eating sugar-free chocolate. Make it a bit healthier, so kind of makes me feel a bit more, a bit better about myself. That I'm like, it's sugar-free,
Yes.
It's just fine. Okay. If you were trapped on a desert island, what 3 things would you take with you?
My guitar. Gosh, what else? Well, the guitar came out fast, and I can't think of anything else.
That's funny. I love that. I
don't know. I can't think of anything else.
Okay. I have to come back to that one. Might come back to. Okay. Let's have a look. What's your favourite sporting event?
Sporting event. just to watch it or whatever you mean?
Yeah, just to watch on TV or
Probably hockey.
hockey. Canadian, I guess. Yeah, ice hockey is a big thing, isn't it? So yeah. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Rolling Stones when I was 15.
Wow, Rolling Stones. That is really awesome. At 15 as well. It's amazing, amazing.
It was
Okay.
supposed to be their last concert.
Yeah, that didn't quite happen, did it?
No, I think it was 79.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so your final question. What was your first job?
Being in a rock band.
Yeah, see, what a great first job. Most just say like paper rounds or stuff. I love that, being in a rock band. It's very cool. Well done. You survived our 13 crazy questions. I love that. Tell us, who are some of the women you've looked up to? So who are some of your heroes, your musical heroes?
Well, we already mentioned Dolly.
Yeah,
And this is kind of like you said, you weren't always a fan of hers, and I didn't really think about her too much either. But as I get older, I look up to her because she's
yeah,
still going, she's still writing, she's
she's
reinventing
amazing.
herself. Cher,
Mm,
same thing. Cher's still
mm,
going and performing. And a name you mentioned that your mother loved. She was probably one of the first female singers was Patsy Cline
mm.
because my mom and dad loved was called country and western back then.
Yeah,
And they had a record player, they would party and they would put the record on and they would have dance in the kitchen. And when I heard Patsy Cline when I was just a little girl, I was blown away
yeah,
by the emotion in her voice. And so I would say she was the first person I heard that I went, I want to do what she's doing.
yeah, yeah. She was just
I
absolutely
just,
awesome. Mm.
yeah,
To blow you away.
and, it's just so sad. And I mean, there's been so many young artists that pass away, and you just think of all the music that they would have created.
I know. Could you imagine how huge and what an impact she would have made on that on the music industry? She was just absolutely awesome. She really was, and it's a tragedy to lose her at such a young age. But
Yeah.
it's
I
just
really some of the up and coming. I mean, I really like Lainey Wilson, and I love her story because again, it's pure determination.
yeah,
She lived in her little trailer for 14 years and now just bars. And then finally somebody noticed her, and it's I think as musicians, you don't do it to be famous. Most of us don't anyway, but
mm,
you just keep trying because you love what you do.
yeah. You love the music, you love everything else. If you get the rest of it, obviously that's a huge impact. But um, you listen to some of the stories and what people go through just to be noticed and to be able to play their music. Some of the stories are just like, a lot of normal people, I'm not saying normal people, majority of people would have given up because,
Oh,
the amount
for
of work
sure.
and the amount of pressure and, the comments and, people not believing you and stuff. It's going to be hard. It's
Yeah.
definitely not an easy path to take.
No, and I don't think being really famous, like Taylor Swift famous or Shania, is when you can't do anything. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you're almost like in a cage. So I think there's different levels of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to be difficult. You want your music out there, but you still need that part that you can still live your life without being so famous that you can barely walk out of your house, and you've got everybody there who wants to see you, type thing. It's got to be very,
Yeah.
very difficult. You can't imagine what the pressure these people are. Some of these people are under, and especially obviously Taylor Swift is so young, and she just seems to handle it like it's an everyday occurrence. Me, I'd be having a heart attack with
Oh,
all
I
these
know.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would probably be one of my worst nightmares.
Yes.
But there we go. So I have to ask you, tell me about your name. How did the Marie part come in?
Well, when I first started releasing my music, and my YouTube channel that I started was under Sharon White, and that is the same name as Ricky Skaggs' wife, who is also a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
So, and my middle name is Marie, and I was named after an auntie that my mom, like her sister, just she loved her, and so I thought as a homage to my auntie and to try to have differentiation from Sharon White.
Yeah.
However, my YouTube channel still comes up with all her stats.
Oh, okay.
I wish that would be okay if I got her royalties, but I do not.
Yeah, that kind of, that's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? That is a bit of a nightmare. That is a bit of a. It'd be good to get her royalties at least,
Yeah.
You'll be seeing it all coming through. So tell us, what does the rest of 2024 have in store for you?
Well, because I haven't released any new music since last August, which is probably the longest. I mean, that's almost a year for me. But I've kind of I feel like I've been saving these songs up because I've got 6 new songs to work on.
Okay.
So as soon as our work this summer kind of slows down, we have our own little recording studio
Okay.
in our house where I do the vocals. But so I have 6 songs. I need to get my butt in gear. I'm really excited about them because I have a country blues, I have bluegrass, country rock to get out because I love writing different styles of music. And I think that's kind of fun as well. And I also have 2 amazing different groups in Nashville that play my music. Like I'll send just my vocals and guitar track to these 2 separate bands. They do their magic. They send the tracks back to me and I put the vocals on. And so that's been working just amazingly well for the last 4 years. And I'm really excited because this is like, these guys are top level Nashville. So I was like, this is so cool.
This is awesome. You've got to love it. That's good. I must admit, I was once again reading through your website, and it says you taught yourself to play the guitar at the age of 4. Now, at the age of 4, I probably wouldn't have had the patience to do that. But tell us about that journey. I mean, that must have been something you really set your heart on, and you were going to do it, and.
What's that? Learning the guitar, you mean?
Yeah, because it says you started to learn the guitar at the age of 4. Is that correct?
14.
Oh, actually, 14. Sorry, 4. I get my numbers right. Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, at the age of 14. I mean, even at 14, I don't think I would have had the patience to sit there and do it. So what drove you to do it?
What it was, because I love to sing. And so the next step for me, I felt, was learning an instrument to accompany myself. So one of my teachers in high school taught guitar, and that's kind of where the whole thing started. Guitar. He taught 3 or 4 other kids, and then we became a band, became a rock band, and that's why I said we played every weekend. And I really wanted to be able to accompany myself because I love to sing, and I wrote poetry first. So then when I had a heck of a time writing rock and roll songs though. So, in the 90s, I switched to country music, and then that just felt like, this is home. I can write stories about this. This makes sense to me, and it's funny because, I mean, rock and roll is still the same chords and everything else, but it's just a different way of how you present the song or the song ideas. And so country just felt like, this is where I should be.
That's where, kind of makes sense. It's a place of, safety, and that sort of feel, and what it's all about. I love that. I love it. I mean, country music also feels at home to me. Whenever you're having a bad day, I mean, I listen to obviously a lot of different music, but when you're ever having that bad day, you always go back to what you know. You always go back to certain songs or certain artists that will just cheer you up or make you smile or if you need a cry, you can always find that perfect song, which is just
Yes.
the perfect genre for doing that with. But there you go. So, do you have a rough time on when the new album might be out or EP?
Um, I don't know if I'll get it. I'm hoping to get something released before the end of 2024, but if not, it'll probably be the beginning of 2025. And I think I'm going to have to release a few, like a lot quicker, maybe every 3 months, just to get these songs out, because it is important to stay current.
Yeah.
A lot of internet radio stations, they only play the top 20, the top 30, just like the mainstream ones do. They want your newest stuff, which is exciting and it's fun, but not everybody, can either afford or has the time to keep, releasing them so quickly. But there's a lot of stations, and especially in Europe, that will keep playing me, even though though now that I guess my whole goal is to build up a catalog of music. And my ultimate goal would be to have somebody, famous record them. But whether that'll ever happen in my lifetime, I don't know. But building a catalog right now is what I'm working on.
Is what you're working towards. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think you need that back catalogue, don't you? So you can play the songs, and you've got more there for people to hear and everything else. Pretty cool.
Yeah, because then they can. I have a few stations, and they'll play me every weekend. They have a Sunday show, and now they have at least 8 songs, I guess, to pick from. And they do it up, which is kind of cool.
It must be amazing to hear yourself on the radio. I mean, I've seen videos of people hearing it, hearing their song for the first time, but I can't imagine that ever gets old. Hearing yourself on the radio.
Sorry, you broke up there again on me.
It's all right, don't mind. I was just saying, hearing yourself on the radio. But I mean, you've seen videos of people hearing it for the first time, but I can't imagine that ever gets old. It must be just the same thrill every time you hear a song.
Yeah, it's really cool. And when I first started this journey, and I contacted the DJs myself, and you kind of build this rapport with them, which is really neat. And so I've got a whole list. So every time I release a song, I usually do it myself. I sometimes hire promoters, but it gets expensive, and then you don't have the dialogue with the DJs. And in the very beginning, it was funny because somebody would say, well, okay, I'm going to be playing you this time, this day. And I would listen to this, and get all excited. And now, and this is a good problem to have, I can't keep up with all the stations that are playing me. Like, I wouldn't have time to, but that's a wonderful problem. And that's kind of where you want to get to, but you still, if they tag you, if they tag me on Facebook and say I'm playing you, I'll share it and I'll thank them, because that's still very important.
Yeah. You still need to keep that rapport going. You still need to be able to, get it out to people. And, it's a mutual respect between you and the radio stations, because you need them and they need you. So,
exactly.
You need to keep that.
Trying to get on terrestrial or mainstream in Canada is extremely difficult, because most of our radio stations are big conglomerates. They're and the people that decide, the program directors, may be in a totally different province, and they're basically told what music to play. There's no room for an independent, unless you're if you're not with a record label. It's really dark.
Yeah, the record labels win because they can pay the money. They can help with the promotion and everything else. Where it's once again how much money you can put into it and that sort of stuff. But which is difficult. But we need more radio stations that are out there to play independent artists and show the world.
And there's thousands of them. So and they come and they go, because I know it is hard financially for somebody just to start one, and especially if they want to have it licensed, because if it's licensed, and that's why we have to tag all our music and everything, then we will get our little chunk of change from our royalties. So it's something.
Yeah, licensing is very difficult, I must admit. But it's good that we have got the radio stations out there that are willing to play the new artists and willing to play independent artists. But very cool. Very cool. So what have you got planned for the rest of your day?
Rest of my day?
Yeah. Yeah. What have you got planned for the rest of your day?
Oh, just finish up my work, and that's about it.
Perfect. So you can just chill for the rest of the day and that'll be it. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, I have had a blast talking to you. I really have. And I've had a real fun getting to know you and getting to know your music. So any new music you've got, send it our way. We would love to help promote it for you. So that'll be awesome. But thank you
I
so much.
Appreciate that. That's
No worries. No
Thank
worries.
you, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. And I've had fun talking to you. So it's been fun. So have a great evening or rest of your day. And we
Yes,
look forward to hearing new music.
That sounds great, and you take care.
Perfect, will do. See you later, guys. Have fun. Adios.
Bye.
Bye. Stop.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.